Hello, my name is Antonio Papano. I'm a patron of the Keyboard Charitable Trust. I was born in Britain. I've lived and studied in America, and now divide my time mostly as music director of the Royal Opera House Covent Garden here in London and the Santa Cecilia Orchestra and Chorus in Rome. Music has no borders, and the Keyboard Trust neither. Over its long history, it has presented young concert pianists of 34 different nationalities, offering them performing opportunities internationally and now globally by means of these internet broadcasts. All are ready to grace the great concert halls. I now invite you to hear them in conversation and in concert. Please remember their names, then ask the Keyboard Trust to send them to perform where you are. Then you too will have helped to accomplish our true mission. Thank you very much.
Welcome to St Matthew's Church here in Ealing. It's thanks to Richard Thomas that the Keyboard Trust are carrying on their activity in this beautiful church where we are recording concerts to be streamed. The Keyboard Trust, now in its 30th year, has the problem now of the pandemic that live performances are no longer allowed. But in order to help young musicians to find a venue for them to play, to work for, and we've created this venue, and the concerts will be streamed, and I hope you will enjoy them. I'm Christopher Axworthy. I'm one of the artistic directors of the Keyboard Trust, together with Eleanor Rodko and Leslie Howard. And we're delighted to invite you to listen to this concert. Wonderful Russian pianist, recently won the Hastings competition, very important competition, concerto competition. He's going to play for us Roman Kosyakov. He's going to play for us music by Scarlatti, Beethoven, and Schumann. And then after the concert, we will have a discussion. We'll have an informal talk about his studies in Russia, the fact that he's moved to England and was studied in Birmingham, and also the choice of his program, of course, which is very important. He's playing the Schumann Humoresque, which is very rarely played. It's a very long work. It's in 7 sections. A very complicated work, as you will see. And I've heard Roman play it before. It's absolutely wonderful performance. I hope you enjoy it. So now let me just first of all say that I forgot to say that this series is called the New Artists Series of the Keyboard Trust, because it's something that's been created with this title for the 30th anniversary of the Keyboard Trust, which was founded by Nareta Conchi and her husband John Leach. It was founded 30 years ago to consolidate the many, many years that they have been promoting young artists all over the world through their various contacts, which include Michelangelo, Claudio Abbado, and Loren Mazel, and a lot of people, to give a platform to young musicians in a period when they finish their studies, or about to finish their studies, before starting a professional career, to show them, give them access to important venues, and to learn about the difficulty. It's not just playing the piano, it's also getting to the church on time. And I think that brings us to Roman Kosyakov, who just played wonderfully, brilliantly.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a great pleasure and a great honour too, because Roman won a very important piano competition, the Hastings piano competition, which has become very important because the Royal Philharmonic play in the final, and you are an ambassador for the Hastings competition, which means that you come from Hastings today, and you've literally, with the train being late, flown into the church, sat down, and given these wonderful performances that we've just heard today. And congratulations, congratulations. I want to find out how you did it. I want to find out where you studied as a child, basically. I know that you studied at the Central Music School in Moscow, and then you studied the Conservatoire with Ovchitnikov, who was the winner of our very own Leeds piano competition in 1987, having come second in the Leeds piano competition with
Tchaikovsky.
The Tchaikovsky competition, he with Peter Donahue. Sorry, my mind went blank for a second. He came second because the first prize was not given out at the Tchaikovsky in 1982. And Ovchitnikov, shortly after he won the Leeds competition, he was brought over to play in Italy by Ital Concert. Russia was still closed at that point. You had to go through various agents if you wanted to get out of the country and play outside Russia. And he came to play in my theatre, which would have been, I think, the year that you were actually born, in 1991?
1992,
you would have been 1 year old.
Yeah.
So what about your studies from very early age? What age did you start studying?
I started when I was 6 years old, as far as I remember. So, and it was a small town in Siberia.
Which town?
Kemerovo. It's nearby the Novosibirsk, which is
Novosibirsk, which is where all the violinists are, actually.
Yeah, not only violinists, but good pianists as well. I mean,
what is there about Siberia that has, or that has these people that make music in this wonderful way?
Good school.
Oh, it is.
Novosibirsk is very tough and really, professionally.
And your parents are musicians, yes?
Yes. Yeah.
Are they pianists?
No, my mother was a pianist. Yeah, and she just brought me to the music school.
Yeah.
And I was never kind of pushed to play. I had a choice, which is really rare, when you are only one child with the parents who are musicians.
You're an only child?
Yeah, I'm the only one, and I had a choice. They never,
A choice of what? Of
being a musician or not, to play instruments.
Oh, I see, yeah. But what made they thought you were particularly talented music-wise?
Yeah, that's the story. So Mom brought me to the music school for the concert. It was some kind of like small, can you imagine? I mean, in a small town, the children are playing for themselves mostly.
Yes, yeah.
And I was like 5 years old, 6 years old. So I was completely in love with sounds, probably, because Mama wasn't tell me, like she was kind of looking at my reaction on instruments. And at some point when some pianist went to play, and I was like, this one I'm gonna play on this instrument.
Oh, really?
That's it. Yeah. That's how it started. Yeah,
and could you hear the sounds? Did you have perfect pitch? Did you have it?
Yeah,
you did. Which you picked up from birth, presumably?
Probably, yeah.
Or from hearing music in the house, maybe. Was your mother a piano teacher as well?
Yeah. I mean, she she was a accompanist and playing with the church.
And your father?
He is, I would say, he's multi-musician. He never kind of studied properly, but he's able to play on everything. So
Is he a professional musician? Do that?
not really. I mean, he is, but he doesn't have a degree, the highest degree.
Oh, what, in other music, you mean?
Yeah.
So
he doesn't have a degree in music.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not. He's doing some different stuff now. But anyway.
Yeah.
So.
But then, so you went to the Central Music School until you were there almost until you were about 20, 21. Yeah?
No, I entered this school when I was 14, so it's 2012. Yeah, 2012. When I was 14 years old and started to. Yeah, and actually, I finished in.
You finished at the Central School. You must have been there when you were 40, because then you started with a Chitnikov at the conservatory.
Yeah, I started with a Chitnikov when I was 18 or 19 already.
And stayed there until you came to England.
Yes,
yeah?
exactly. Yeah. So
you
5
graduated
years.
from.
I graduated from Moscow, and by that time, there's a question how I actually arrived to UK.
Yes.
What was the point? So I was thinking to do anything else except to try myself out of Russia.
Yes.
And
was it easy to get out of Russia at that point, or?
I mean, the main problem for me was my English, because I didn't speak at all. I didn't know anything. So because I was lazy. I had lessons, but I didn't do anything because I thought that I will never be using it in my life, as most of Russians still think, you know, because you know, we don't need English because we have our own.
Yes, of course.
Anyway, so and my professor with whom I'm studying now in Birmingham, he arrived to Moscow. He was giving a master class.
Oh really? Oh, I see. That's how the link came.
And so I was just like, why not? I should try. And I played to him, and he invited me to study with him. And I said yes.
And you've been with him what, for 3 or 4 years now? Yeah.
Yeah, since it's already. Yes, 4 years. Almost.
And you've learned English wonderfully well in those 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I failed my exam. I failed my first English test, and in this case, I studied English in the UK. I was offered kind of English learning courses or something.
Because you have to go through all the thing like doing the exams and tests and things.
Yeah, that's the terrible story, but it's very nervous. Anyway.
But you've done wonderfully well, because you're telling me you have your visa to stay, which is really complicated. Again, you have to be really.
And that's all started with Hastings. So I started to have a stage. I started to apply for different kind of societies and to appear in different venues, and that's helped me to gather kind of my achievements.
Yes, exactly.
And that's how I got my visa.
I see. Oh, wonderful. Yeah. So, what are your plans? Then you're planning to stay in England, or do you plan to go back to Russia?
Yeah, I'm about to finish first of all my APT course in Birmingham.
Yes.
I will be finishing this year, and then of course I really want to stay, and I would be. I mean, that's the reason why I've done all of this kind of way to get to the visa.
Yes.
So now I have 5 years. 5 years in the UK.
But you've been playing quite a lot anyway in the UK, haven't
you? Yeah, thankfully. I was lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was lucky. But due to pandemic, everything just crashed. And at the moment, just like started. Thank you very much for having me today, because it was like one of the, something really unique in this.
It's thanks to Richard Thomas and letting us use this venue which we've created exactly to give the possibility for you to play, possibility for us to be able to hear you play. It's not only you that want to play, of course, it's the public that want to hear it as well. And thanks to Roy Emerson, we will be able to hear it splendidly streamed for now. But let's hope eventually, when the concerts people are allowed back into the concert hall, that we can do with the people and the streaming. I think both together is really quite a useful thing. I hear so many concerts. I'm stuck here in England now. I live in Italy, but I can't get back just at the moment because of travel restrictions and so on. So I'm here, but all the concerts, I normally travel around to concerts, or I organise concerts all over Italy, and I go to many, many concerts. But now all the concerts come into my house. Exactly. I don't have to move.
So easy.
I go from one room to another, and in
the other room yesterday, Plednev was playing, and then last night Pavel Kolesnikov was playing at the Wigmore Hall, but during the afternoon Ashley Fripp was playing at St Mary's Perivale, and on Monday I will be in Rome at the Rome University, all sitting in my house without actually moving, which is not quite the same thing. I think, do you find it very difficult to play without an audience like that? It didn't seem so to us, but was it?
No, it is unusual still. It's still unusual because, you know, but in these regulations now, in this life, because it's dramatically changed.
Yeah.
And I would prefer to have these kind of recitals rather than not having anything.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
of course, but it's kind of a way to, you know, to replace the actual concerts. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's different, but not that different.
Yeah.
So anyway, you're nervous, you're trying to do your best, and you know.
Yeah.
But you know, when you have an actual audience, you are sharing and you feel it immediately.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
the kind of breathing in the
And of course,
silence or some kind of phone ringing, and you are just, you know, and you started to interact with people, which is absolutely a unique thing, and you can't replace it by online recitals. Anyway.
yeah, because to see you play and hear you play, it seemed as though you were perfectly at home. Like, well, I suppose like in the recording studio, there are some artists in recording studios, they invite a few friends in
Right.
because they feel they need
Yes,
that stimulus.
absolutely.
You feel that as well, you're missing that, yeah.
Of course, yeah. Thankfully you were here, so I had an audience.
No, I hope that when the lockdown finishes, that the Keyboard Trust will be able to offer you their various tours that we have, and you know, it'd be a reciprocal thing for you and for the audience as well, to be able to enjoy your wonderful playing.
Thank you.
Yes, well, I had heard it on streaming before from St Mary's in Perivale, which is just around the corner here, playing the Schumann Humoresque, so I knew what we were in for today.
Yeah, I think I was so pleased by your.
No, it was absolutely really wonderful. But you said there's no real reason for putting this concert together today. You just chose things that from your repertoire that went well together. Yes.
Yeah. I was about to offer, you know, Mussorgsky pictures, but then I realized that it's probably most, you know, it's too many pianists now playing the Mussorgsky, and
I think everyone.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. But this is a kind of a
We have someone playing it.
Yeah, that's fine.
quite
Yeah,
soon.
that's fine.
Yes.
But it's very famous and very powerful one, and it's really great to finish the concert with this piece.
It is,
So-
yes, but I mean, the Schumann Humoresque is much more complicated. I mean, and to
yeah.
hold together, but
Yeah.
the Mussorgsky more or less goes on its own if you can play the piano well, and you know,
Exactly,
and
exactly.
you have a sense of colour and all the rest of it. But the Schumann Humoresque is not that easy to play. To hold it together, don't you find that's the difficult thing to do?
It is, but I find Schumann, you know, honestly, I didn't play Schumann much. I've played some. I've played the first sonata, and I've played a couple of miniature by him, and actually, yes, I was about to start playing something bigger, and this one, the first probably biggest kind of big piece, you know, the half.
This is one of the biggest of
Yeah.
Schumann's pieces.
So now I'm, and I find it really close to me. So I'm
Yes.
kind of not. I find it easy for myself to
Mm.
to behave like he would behave, you know, in this music. So I would talk a little bit crazy, a little bit, you know.
Well, Florestan and Zebes, you have the
Exactly,
double
exactly,
thing,
exactly.
like every artist should have.
Yeah. And
You
now
also
I'm
need a bit
working-
of devil as well, but there's not much devil in Schumann, is there? Do you find that?
In this piece, no, and in general.
I don't think there
it's
is
not.
much devil.
Yeah.
There's the craziness, the schizophrenic,
Yes,
the
exactly.
fact that if Florestan wasn't around, I think Eusebius would have taken over. And I think at that point it does towards the end of his life. And that's why the works, in my opinion, don't have the same force as these early works,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
this Opus 21 is the last of a whole series of absolute
Yes.
masterpieces for the piano, starting with the Abbe Variations,
Yeah.
the Carnival, Kreisleriana, the Fantasy,
Mhm.
and then after this we have the Sonata Opus 22, which actually was written before. It was just given that number,
Yeah, number.
for convenience sake. But this is really the last of a whole series of masterpieces. And it is, it's
So
like
very
Kreisleriana, the whole set of pieces. But Kreisleriana, have you played Kreisleriana?
I'm working now on it. I'm just started, and I will be doing this this summer.
I think that is probably somehow easier to hold together.
Yeah, because it's more it's constructed a little bit more better. Probably it's constructed better in terms of the parts and different waves, and it's logically correct.
Yeah.
It's really logical, and you can remember it. And
Yes.
right, but in Humoresque, you can't really stay focused for long.
No.
Because it's all repeated, and then suddenly something appears, and you're just like getting lost a little bit. But of course, and it's very complicated to take this attention back, to have it, to play with audience and to remind.
But the same with Kreisler and also with the Humoresque. The thing which most pianists find very difficult, which you don't, of course, it is to play the perfect legato, to get rid of the bar lines and to let the music almost sing as though there are no bar lines at all, which is very hard, which you did magnificently well. You're not only at the beginning, but in the long ones, especially in Kreisler, it's the second one of Kreisler. The legato there is something almost impossible to do on the piano, unless you have the sort of technique that which you acquired from a very early age. And how many hours did they make you practice at the Central School?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't really remember, but I do. When I started, it was my first year. I arrived from Siberia and was like, get rid of everything. I'm living alone.
But you weren't a beginner when you went to the Central School, were you?
No, of course. I've played piano before.
But you had a teacher in Novosibirsk.
Yeah. Not Novosibirsk,
but they gave you the necessary technical preparation. But how did they? Do they give you scales? I mean, like we do, or arpeggios, or their exercises, or is it purely with music?
Yeah, as far as I remember, I never did it when I was a child. I only, did it because of the exercises or some kind of exams in Central Music School. When I arrived, I realized that they have technical exams, and you have to play just all the scales and different tonalities and all.
This is what the Central School.
Yeah. I was like, gosh, I've never done it before.
And you have someone that trains you specifically for that, and you have a piano teacher that.
No. Nobody trains you for it.
Oh, really?
Nobody. They just like. I mean, of course, you can ask your teacher, but it's a little bit weird. If you ask, can you listen to my scales? And he would answer like, do you think I don't have any? I don't have time. So or something like this. Kind of. They would never listen to your scales.
Because the whole of the Russian school of piano play is basically based on the fact from pianissimo to mezzo forte. Basically, that was the thing that surprised us when Richter came to London first. Not how loudly or how fast he could play, but how quietly he could play and how he could project the sound and how slowly and quietly he could play as well, Richter in particular. And this is because you have strong fingers, very, very strong fingers. We've been trained from early age, but you have a very flexible wrist and the whole hand is flexible. Whereas a lot of other more classical pianists, they play with strong fingers, but it also comes, they don't have the sound.
Yeah, that's right. Because I was lucky enough to have a brilliant teacher in Central Music School.
In where?
In Moscow.
At the Central School, this one, yes. What's his name? I couldn't pronounce it.
It's her name, Farida Nurizadeh.
Is that a man or a woman?
She's a woman, yeah, she is, yeah.
Is she's still alive?
Yeah. I'm in close contact with her.
And she has great success. I mean, her students had great success, or? She
was a pupil of Igumnov. And this is a kind of one of branches of Russian piano school. So we have Neuhaus, Igumnov, Flier, and
I know the Neuhaus school, but I don't know this. Yeah.
So, it's a fantastic. So this school was famous because of the sound. So
is that because of
the sound, the quality?
People like Sofronitsky and people like that. This is the school we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So and she wouldn't allow me to play, even without thinking what you're doing actually. Not just like fingers doesn't work. I mean, if you play perfectly clean, it doesn't make any sense for her. And I was like, why? Everybody is playing fast and clean and and she's like, and it's not the music. It's something. So I was taught that the most important thing is sound. Sound goes first.
Yes.
And your idea goes first. And then if you hear how to do it, you can do it. It's already 50%. You don't need to practice like 10 hours per day to get an idea. To get an idea, you can go to a museum or, I don't know, have a walk near a park and read the books. That's
How often? How many hours do you practice a day? I mean, generally, if you're in, having concerts and you have to prepare things.
Yeah, it depends.
Is there a limit? Do you say more than 4 hours? Then I can't do more than 4 hours, or I should
do more than 4 hours productively. I mean, I can physically, of course, I can do and practice, but sometimes I just find myself, it's absolutely useless what I'm doing.
Yes.
If I just learn the notes, I don't know how some people probably they kind of like learn it.
Yeah.
Some people ask me, how do you memorize the things? And I say, I don't know. I never do it for a reason. Of course, sometimes, yeah, if you just need to play in 2 days some piece and you have no choice and you sit down and you just like mad trying to remember.
Yes. Yeah.
But in general, it just comes naturally. That's the thing is.
Like my wife, she used to do that. My wife is an actress.
Yeah.
And the directors often used to say, will she ever be able to say the words after a month rehearsal? Will she on the first night? Will she actually remember the words? Because it was like a sponge.
Exactly.
She found the more she was doing, she had to be convinced. She had to know what she was doing before. She couldn't just learn it. And a lot of actors come to the rehearsal and say, "Oh, I know it from memory already." Stop.
Yeah.
Out. We need people that need to learn it together to understand the meaning of what they're doing.
Of course.
And the movement that goes with that sound.
It's all the same.
It's the same. Yes, it is. Art is all the same.
So I was lucky enough, when she was actually quite hard and quite tough.
Yeah, well, she must have been. I mean, look
Yeah,
at
I mean,
yeah,
she wouldn't allow me
thanks to her that you
play.
could play as you could play.
She wouldn't allow me to play the whole piece, even once. So I just started, and the second bar she was like, stop.
What sort of pieces did you play? Is it mainly Russian repertoire that you played with her?
No, actually, I was graduating with the Liszt sonata. Liszt.
Which sonata? The B minor?
Yeah, B minor.
Ah.
So yeah, it's quite repertoire, at that point. I was 18 years old, and she was kind of making me play good.
Yeah.
But not only just, she was actually a good teacher for that age, that age.
And does she only teach with that age? I mean, she stopped at a certain age, 18,
yeah,
19?
she's working only in Central Music School.
Oh, I see.
She doesn't have students like graduating after.
And then after, what you selected for the conservatory? Was it automatic? You go, the central school says this boy should go to the conservatory?
No, of course not.
So what happens?
Selection.
How do you go to the
exams?
You go to it?
Yeah, it's everyone. It's
Yeah.
everyone from over the world. It doesn't matter where you studied before.
And you said
of course we have connections. Of course, some teachers teaching in Concerto in the school as well.
Yes.
And everybody knows each other, but in terms of we all had the same selection and exams. And
but you said you were lucky with Ovchinnikov as well.
Yes, of
It's
course,
also a great friend of yours now.
At that point, he was a director. He was a principal of Central Music School.
Yes, I remember he became director. Yes, I heard about that.
So at the same time, he was actually I didn't play to him much. I did play like once before exams.
Was he playing as well at that point? Is he still playing?
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Because I knew he'd gone into the director of the Conservatoire, and I thought, well, that would suit him more than, because when he came to us in Italy, he was not the sort of person to travel around the world. He was a very quiet,
unique example of combining things together. I don't know how he's doing it. Because he has plenty of students, and he's working like mad. And at the same time, he's playing recitals all over the world, and I was like, why? How? Not why, but how?
Well, we have the same here with Alex F.
Yes,
who lives just around the corner, actually, who won also the Leeds piano competition, and exactly the same. He has so many pupils, and then suddenly you hear him playing in Poland, and you think, this is a great pianist playing. They probably choose not to go to have that touring the world. It must be a very lonely existence, and maybe they want to have more a permanent place to be and to be helpful. And he was very helpful to you, you say.
Of course.
And still is, you said, yes.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean, I don't play. I don't have lessons with him.
No.
But if I wish, I wouldn't be.
Do you have
refused.
lessons now in Birmingham? Are you having Zoom lessons?
Yes,
is that working? Are you happy with that, or?
I mean, of course I'm not. Of course I'm not happy, because I can't. the all I do now is like it is helpful. It's better than nothing.
How do you do it? Do you record it
I
first, send the
yes.
recording, and then you go on the Zoom lesson?
Yes, yeah.
You
yeah,
don't actually play the...
I do sometimes, but it doesn't make any sense.
No.
Honestly.
So the teacher, Vorosky, has heard you play,
yeah.
and is ready to help.
He's supposed to hear me before the lesson, but sometimes he just like turn in my recording just during the lesson and making comments, and that's it. And actually, it's helpful. It's working also. So I send in a recording, and the next day I get the comments.
Where is Vorosky now? Is he in Birmingham? Or?
Yeah, he's teaching in Birmingham, but
but is he living there now? I mean, does he live
no,
there?
he's in Barcelona. In Spain.
Wise man, you see. That's the wonderful thing about streaming. You can be in some beautiful places of the world, and you don't have to be necessarily in the place. Birmingham, got nothing against Birmingham, and of course Manchester. With the Manchester Camerata, we have a great rapport with them. They've changed a lot. Everything used to be based in London. It's not anymore. There's Leeds, there's Manchester, there's Birmingham, everywhere else, and now also in Scotland too. There's a great music academy up there too. But anyway, thank you very much, Robin. It's a wonderful recital. You now have to catch your train back to Hastings.
Yeah, really, I do.
I'm sorry about that, but I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Yes, I definitely did. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for talking to us.